very a personality who is occupied a very high office of Chief Justice. So if the Chief Justice puts forward an alternative, a critique, suggestions, proposals, which are superior to what we are doing, I mean, the most important thing is that we structure an arrangement and we construct a deal which is in the interest of Ghana, all of us. I mean, so we all will have the benefit of it. But so far, unfortunately, I have not heard anything in particular that the former Chief Justice is put on the table. I mean, to say, for example, that 10% royalty is not good. You should have gotten 15%. Or that you negotiated for a community development fund. You should have done something else. Or that this particular jurisdiction did it that way, so you should go on that route. We've not gotten that. I mean, you heard from the presentation, for example, that when it comes to royalties, when you go to clause 20A of the agreement of the lease, the royalty rate which we negotiated for is 10%. 10% royalty rate. All mining companies in Ghana from 1957, since we gained independence, pay royalty rate of 5%. Newmont pays 5%. Goldfields pay 5%. Anglo Gold pays the same. You name it. Cardinal, all of them. The negotiated royalty is 5%. We successfully negotiated 10%. When you go to Australia, which controls some of the biggest deposits of lithium, their royalty rate is 5%. When you go to Mali, that has a bigger deposit of lithium, almost 3-4 times bigger than ours, they charge 6%. When you go to Zimbabwe, they have a bigger deposit of lithium than we do, they charge 5%. Your government, the Ghanaian government, is negotiated for 10%. So if the former Chief Justice says, that is wrong, you should have done 20% because of this and that reason. The lady from Bloomberg, and Bloomberg is one of the leading authorities when it comes to metals, when it comes to minerals. Everybody knows that. I've been to Bloomberg. I've had multiple interviews with them. She asked the question that this 10%, is it not going to make your industry uncompetitive? Atlantic Lithium has swallowed it. Is it going to be the case that a lot more companies will refrain from coming to Ghana because you are charging a high royalty rate? So this is the point. I mean, the discussion gets a lot more productive if we have alternatives. She's not giving any alternative. For example, you go and look at corporate income tax rate. The corporate income tax rate we are charging here in Ghana in this transaction is 35%. Australia is charging 30%. Mali is charging 30%. Zimbabwe, our counterpart sister African country, more deposits than Ghana, they are charging 25%. And Ghana, we've negotiated for 35% of corporate income tax rate. Then somebody says, it's a bad deal, throw it away. And he doesn't or she doesn't give you an alternative, that you should have done it this or that way. Lastly, you go to free carried interest. We've negotiated for 13%. And across the sector, free carried interest is 10%. Goldfields is 10%. Anglo Gold is 10%. Newmont is 10%. Cardinal is 10%. Golden Star is 10%. Ghana Bauxite Company is 10%. In this particular transaction, we have negotiated for 13%. And it was hard negotiations. As I said, in some cases, the president himself was involved in the negotiations. And he insisted. When we went back to him and said 8%, 7%, whatever, he said, no, this is a special mineral. Go back, negotiate upwards. We negotiate for 13%. So what is the point I make? And, you know, as you can imagine, I mean, she's a former Chief Justice, occupied the high office in our country, number 4 in the country. So it's a bit difficult to, you know, engage when it comes to a personality like that. But to say the least, I mean, one other point she makes, for that anybody who supports this transaction must have benefited from the transaction unduly. So here I am. I support the transaction. I must have benefited from it unduly. No evidence, no basis for that. No evidence, no basis for that. And when I went to law school first year, the good old law lady, her lordship, her ladyship, Chief Justice Ofaya Kufu, taught me that the rule, the cardinal rule of the game is evidence. Every lawyer, when you make a claim, evidence. Because this is just a brush that is used to brush everybody who supports this transaction. And more or less casts insinuation and compromise all of us, our integrity. When we all know that the rule of the game is evidence. And that she put something on the table. That Minister Jinapor has some hidden company in offshore where he holds some secret 5% in this company, and that is why he's supporting the deal. Then we are having a proper conversation. But you make this statement that everybody, anybody who supports this transaction must be benefiting from the transaction unduly. Sam Jonah, one of the foremost leading mining administrators in our country. If I'm not exaggerating, I'm not too sure that there is anybody, inclusive, who can match up to Sam Jonah's pedigree, at least when it comes to the mining sector of our country. When he was running the first biggest mine in our country, in Obuasi, you see Nko were still, first year students at the minerals. Sam Jonah has come out publicly to say this is one of the best transactions Ghana has ever negotiated for in the mining industry. He's on record. It was published on the Daily Graphic. I read it. Per the logic, respectfully, very respectfully, per the logic of our senior stateswoman, former Chief Justice, Sam Jonah is supposed to be benefiting unduly from this transaction. Bloomberg, and I heard them myself, Bloomberg did a thorough analysis of this particular transaction and came to the conclusion that it's one of the best an African country is structured. Bloomberg must be benefiting from this transaction. Professor Richard Amankwa, Vice Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology, a foremost, well-respected, world-renowned methodologist, very well-respected in the mining industry. Nobody can dispute that. He's on record to have said that this is one of the best transactions we structured. He must be benefiting unduly from it. Dr. Komna Donko, formerly Minister for Energy, former ranking member for Mines and Energy, former chair, he's a leading member of the National Democratic Congress. But you have to give it to him when it comes to matters of energy, power, and mining. He's an expert and he's well respected across board. His views are well respected. He's done a critique of this transaction. He's raised issues with one or two areas he believes we could have done better, but by and large, in a whole, he thinks that is a good transaction. Dr. Komna Donko must be benefiting unduly. So,
should be Ghana's policy on the exploitation. I like the word exploitation because it means you have it and you are now making the most of it. Yes, so the extraction, the processing, the production, the manufacture, everything. There should be a policy that is declared so that any agreement that's going to be signed or ratified henceforth, and that includes this one because it hasn't been ratified yet, yes, must at least have a particular framework which is a far departure from the colonial structure. It's unacceptable and should not be ratified by Parliament. In other words, Parliament should not accept it on behalf of the people of Ghana because it is not in our interest. Whether they will abrogate the agreement or not, whether they will renegotiate it or not, I'm not going there. I'm not their legal advisor. All that IEA is saying is that Parliament must not, should not, ought not ratify this agreement that we have in our hands that has been signed.
How soon will you send the communication to Parliament?
You mean they haven't heard?
No, from IEA, yes, the quorum from this very meeting. How soon are you?
When when it's ready and signed. So the way I see it, maybe at the latest a week today, I would think. Yes, but we will formally also send a copy of our press statement, the one we read last week. We know it's already in the public domain.
For the law you passed on the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I did tell you that it was an act in futility. You were not going to achieve anything from that, but you went ahead to pass it. I disagreed with you, but I was alone. Well, I'm very clear in my mind that that authority is embedded in the powers of the Attorney General, constitutionally. What you just need to do is to fund the office of the Attorney General well and remove the Minister of Justice. You separate the two. Minister of Justice is a political appointee. The Attorney General is a technical person, and he only is ranked in conditions of service to that of a Minister of State. It doesn't mean they have to be incorporated too. I have no problem with Attorney General being a minister. I'm only saying you separate that from the Minister of Justice. Yes. For the law you passed on the establishment of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, I did tell you that it was an act in futility.
So, Chairman, just to, I'm happy you stated that you used to teach conflict of the laws and law of contract. Now, you know the evidential rule, burden of proof, particularly in criminal jurisprudence, proof beyond reasonable doubt. Do you share the view that we should criminalize unexplained wealth in Ghana? Do you share the view that we should criminalize unexplained wealth in Ghana?
It is a bit too, Honorable Chair, it is a bit too overbroad to state unexplained wealth. In criminal jurisprudence, legal criminal constructs should be more pointed, more focused, and clearly delineated because of the specter of someone ending up in jail, losing his liberty, or being fined heftily for an amount. And so if we are to place it in proper context, unexplained wealth, I would say that if the person cannot reasonably explain as matched against his lawful income the amount of money in question, then that aspect, in my opinion, should be criminalized. But if you can reasonably explain how you came about that amount of money, then that should be allowable, that should be acceptable. So in your context, unexplained wealth will be reasonable explanation of the source of that property, wealth, or funds.
Chairman, just to take the nominee, I appreciate your response to it. If you take the United Kingdom today, where Ghana largely borrowed its legal system, largely, they now, for purposes of combating economic crime and fighting corruption, have what they call a reverse burden of proof, that the onus must shift, that when those assets cannot be explained for, an irrebuttable presumption is that they are acquired illegally, fraudulently, it may be taking advantage of the state and its resources. So they now go for a reverse burden of proof. Will you subscribe to that for Ghana in our quest, our collective quest to fight corruption? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chair, I'll link it to my answer to the first question. Also pointing out that criminal constructs are very, very dangerous if not well thought out. A reverse onus clause, as the honorable member rightly put it, puts the burden on the accused person to explain to explain one way or the other the charge against him, rather than the prosecution bearing the burden of proving his guilt. In the context in which I answered the first question, of course, if the construct here is that you cannot reasonably explain as to how you came by that wealth or property matched against your lawful income, then it presupposes that I have already placed the onus on you to show as to how you came lawfully in possession of that wealth, property, or funds. So in that context, my answer will be yes.
So, Chairman, still there, you have like a public official, maybe at Public Procurement Authority, who has 9 million in his account. And for purposes of accountability, that's why every country that is committed to fighting corruption has asset declaration regimes. And the essence is that you should be able to match incomes, legitimate and lawful, with unexplained wealth. Now you have this 9 million in the account of a public official, and maybe 3-4 years back, that money was not there. It's probably because he's associated with a political authority in power, and his income cannot explain a 9 million in his account. If you were a special prosecutor and that was brought to your attention by an ombudsman in a republic, what would be your attitude to dealing with this matter? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chair, as I stated, it should be matched against your lawful income. And so I'll be looking at, in respect of the sources of that income. Perhaps the person in question earns some other income from some other vocation. Maybe he has a cocoa farm somewhere, in a forest area somewhere, and he earns money from it. That will be lawful. So whatever the source of the income is should be lawful. So the aggregate...
accepted, Chairman, accepted. So now, is it not a case that the state could say, okay, come and explain to us in the context of the British system how you got this 9 million? That's the reverse burden of proof. The proof beyond reasonable doubt is no longer going to be the onus on the state. But we cannot explain how come you have 9-10 million as public official in your account. And legitimately, there's nobody in Ghana from the president through ministers of state, except those undertaking businesses, who should have that quantum of money. You are to help us fight corruption.
But there is doom looming ahead of us, that very soon, a murderer will boldly walk to court to seek an injunction. Should I feel frustrated and resign? I took an oath when I was sworn in. And in my life, when I take on the reins to do something, I do it to the best of my ability. Ailton, Sauti. Those who do not understand tree, please forgive me. They say I'm a unkwanoma. But they make cry about for it. Yet they met to me. Yes.
Report purporting or coming from the Office of the Special Prosecutor, trying to indict the Deputy Commissioner of Prisons and myself. And if anybody who has read that report very well will know the basis of that. And luckily for me, God is always on my side. Before that report came, that person had made a statement to some people who had come to tell him he was going to publish something that will discredit me, and he will do that. And I even sent people to go and tell him that he's a small boy. I'm older than him. I have lived a meaningful life. If he attempts to destroy me, it won't be easy for him. People have tried it. I have survived, and this one too, I'll survive. All that happened. One of the reasons was because of Mr. Akurugu. He wanted Mr. Akurugu to be seconded to his office, and I said no. Mr. Akurugu is a customs officer, primarily employed to do customs work. And he is to partner Mr. Akoto Fachin in that office, African Continental Free Trade Area. He deals with tariffs and valuation. And therefore, I cannot second him to the office of the special prosecutor because he has a primary role to play in customs. And then he comes back through the Commissioner General. And again, I said, I insist and will go by that he has a primary role. It is when I don't have a role for him or I can dispense with his services, I have others to do what he's going to do, that I will give him to you. So I insist. And he calls me to his office when in relation to La Bianca, and at the end of it, he talks to me about this same matter. And I said, yes, it is not the Commissioner General. I wrote it. Go and check it. And I have my reasons. He will not be released to you. He will be in customs. And then behind me, he goes to resign. He's given the position of Commissioner of Police a rank, and he's now with your office. And he goes to make allegations that Mr. Duchiama said we hate him, and they will deal with us. So that is it. That is the basis of that publication. But if you read it very well, there's nothing in it. It's hollow. It's actuated by malice. And those who are behind it, they know themselves. They know themselves. They've tried it several times. It is not working, and they want it won't work. I'm ready for any prosecution. That's what he must do. Not to say that they should do further investigations up to 2017. Up to 2015, I have letters written by Deputy Commissioner Demis Agavo granting similar things. And I produced them when he called me. He didn't have the letters, but I had the letters. My predecessor, Mr. Kenson, had those letters. This is common practice in customs. If you want to remove me, I have no problems. I won't be Commissioner Customs forever. I'm ready to go. But don't disgrace me. Don't hide behind people for your own failures, incompetences, and then come and deal with me.
This whole issue of the National Cathedral, in my mind, is the third leg of this triangle. How do you build a society in which you are clear on defining who you are politically? How do you build a society in which the economic engine is growing? And how do you contain that within a spiritual realm that ensures stability for ages to come? So that is Ghana, the economic emancipation, the political emancipation, and the spiritual. But even as we look at something like the cathedral that has economic benefits beyond what we see, both in Israel and the Hajj, they realize about $6 to $8 billion a year. In Africa, we have some 600 million people who are Christians. So imagine Ghana as a New Jerusalem, and these 600 million people floating through. $3,000 is spent, and it's a very different reality. So even as we contend with it and fight about it, let's look at this triangle and find a reason why we should also add that as part of the infrastructure base as we look at a society that is strong, resilient, and robust for the future.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our job, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame.
If you reach a certain stage in life and there is nobody who can look you in the eye and tell you the truth, you are doomed. And that is where our country has gotten to. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. And I feel very terrible as a Ghanaian at this time. This country is in serious trouble, ladies and gentlemen. We are in serious trouble. We need to rescue this country, ladies and gentlemen. The presidency has been so depraved, so muddied, so dirtied, that I tell you in all sincerity as a Ghanaian, that I feel terribly sad today as a Ghanaian. We need to rescue this country. Wallahi. Inshallah.
Please don't cry.
We shall rescue our country.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now.
Right, hello, good morning, welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Friday, the 15th day of December 2023. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're here to another edition of the show. Our gratitude goes to Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Production of textbooks. Local publishers demand payment. Okay. Say 80% has not been paid. District level elections. Over 66,000 vie for assembly and unit committee slots. Easy to upload pink sheets on online portal. Constituency Watch. Asin Central. We can feed nation with support. Constituents. 72,000 acre Accra land judgment. Occupants won't be dispossessed. Council. Ghanaian Times. Towards accident-free Yuletide, will deal with reckless drivers. Transport operators warn. $200 million project to curb Accra perennial flooding takes off. Inflation falls to 26.4% in November. $600 million prestige project to enhance Kotoka International Airport skyline launched. Daily Guide. Election 2024. Easy to display results on website. John Boadu takes over SIGA. Hello World gives 60 computers to schools. Insights from BOG Governor. Unpacking pre-COVID stability and post-COVID crisis. Cannabis not we. MPs divided over legislation. Apostle Ebenezer Boyne hit with another lawsuit. New weekend crusading guide. 10 million Ghana cedis defamation suit. Court throws out Vomao's motion to dismiss case. Awards 3,000 cedis cost. Case adjourned to January 9, 2024 for Oliver to file a statement of defense. Asensu Boakye breaks ground to commence works in Alobushi. NDC's Benunu mentions the beneficiary holder of 4.4% in Barari DV Limited. Answer to Sami Jemfi's question. GAUA threatens to lay down tools over implementation of GTEC directive on office holders. Who are the beneficial owners of 4.4% equity in Ghana Barari Lithium Agreement? NDC demands. You won't have any negative story to tell about MPP primaries. Koka assures. SHC to construct 200 homes for doctors. The insight. Not true. As IEA claims CIA documents value Ghana's unmined minerals at $10 trillion. Corruption. OSP unveils names of 6 ex-government appointees facing criminal prosecution. Police accused of deepening land litigation cases. Health for You donates hospital equipment to Akosombo Dam spillage victims in Tong. Genocidal war in Gaza. Is Israel losing its biggest ally, the USA? The Informer. District-level elections. Let's attach importance. Dangote urges. Appeals for media support. Stay off aspirants. EC wants political parties. Creation of OSP relevant. Afenyomark in Inusa tell critics. 10 million cedis defamation suit. Cost throws out Bakavomao. Slaps 3,000 cedis fine for wasting court time. Successor to Offenso's 2. KK Sapwa not qualified. Offenso Hima told. Towards sustained economic growth. Adopt NDPC 40-year development plan. Governance expect urges. The Inquisitor. Excessive noise pollution at Laboni. 355 Lounge and Ladma in trouble as residents petition Greater Accra Minister. NDC questions lithium deal. CDC's Apostle Boahin sued by 5 pastoral council members. And so Ahmad craves for Hayford Siam as MP. Afenyomark urges Kisia Jaben on. The Herald. Ghana Airport Company MD ordered to go home at 60. Imani's analysis of a way our lithium transaction gets answer in Chikate's response. American TV channel uncovers ghastly child labor in Ghana's cocoa farms. Kumasi Traditional Council cautions Offenso chiefs over KK Sapon's chieftaincy ambition. Coming up, more revelations on Kweku Bediaku's Gold Key properties and his dealings in the country. The Daily Statesman. A Logboshi upgrade project begins. CAA leads Play Ghana to promote local music tourism. Court throws out Oliver in legal battle with Kandapa. SHC GMA partner to build 200 homes for doctors. Family demands expedited probe into murder of businessman. The Daily Searchlight. Ghana to pay 230 million judgment debt to foreign company with unknown partners. Too much apathy in NPP. Nicole. Play Ghana launched. Accra is safe for 2023 Christmas. NADMO. Asantini endorses Dr. Duchum's education reforms. Who has ears should listen. The Ghanaian publisher. NDC's Nunu Mensah is the holder of 4.4% in Barari. Pressure mounts on Bawumia to pick a gun. And it comes with a picture of Daniel Macaulay, the Magdan. EC's 2024 agenda. More polling stations voting to close at 3 p.m. Otufo applauds Dr. Duchum over reforms. The Ghanaian Observer. Bawumia in pole position to become next president. Former director of Bank of Ghana predicts. Promotes patronize local government elections. GJ to media. Koka urges NPP to unite ahead of 2024 polls. CJ eulogizes late lawyer Kotuan Powell. Kandapa versus Oliver Vomao. Court throws out Oliver's dismissal application. The Finder. Early flood warning system procured to safeguard lives, properties in flood-prone areas in Accra. Taxi drivers hail Dr. Bawumia of a new app to rival foreign apps. Petrosol receives AGI's National Quality Award. ECG, Accra East Region invests 20 million cedis into 80 projects in 2023. Engineer Otu. John Boyd is new Acting Director General of SIGA. Daily Post. My next government will construct affordable houses for teachers. Mahama. IGP leak tape probe. Report delayed due to 2024 budget-related discussions. Agaga. What kind of wickedness is this? Ablakwa questions $20 million judgment debt while flood victims remain neglected. You haven't seen anything yet. 24-hour economy is just a tip of the iceberg. John Mahama. And finally, the good old Catholic standard. Criminalizing homosexuality, state within its rights. That's the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference. Don't sacrifice quality for quantity in education. First Catholic Education Congress in Africa ends. Pope Francis announces First World Day of Children. Be protectors of our environment, youth charged. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
Pascal is showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that he hired a security guard to protect the data shed. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded to cloud storage yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
On my long and stressful days, I long for the refreshing company of my favorite companion.
Wow, my favorite.
Tomato onions, no tomatoes.
Hi. Oh, hello. Please, I need to know the drink you were enjoying earlier at the shop.
Sure. Even on Sundays in the market, nothing is for one.
Guess what I brought?
A refreshing companion for you and I.
My favorite.
Angel Drinks. Nyamepe, nyawenechehu.
This advert is FDA approved.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
Prepare bantama.
Matias.
It's her smile, the fresh breath.
Me Jidi say we use Kel 360 toothpaste. Some kind.
Kel 360 toothpaste.
Guys, here, Kel 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector. Onim jom kasan. Kile kosan. Kel 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Kel 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Kel 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Discover the perfect blend of quality, modern elegance, and affordability with Kingdom Home Real Estate. At Kingdom Home Real Estate, we cater to both local and international clients, offering exceptional housing options in Ebri and Ekropong. Our properties are conveniently located, providing a tranquil atmosphere, top-notch security, and essential amenities such as electricity, water, and backup generators. Our strategic locations offer easy access to popular tourist destinations, all within a 30-minute drive from Accra. Visit us in Ekropon right after the Latte Junction, or in Ebri near the Ebri Girls Senior High School. Alternatively, you can reach us Kingdom Home Real Estate, where your dream home becomes a reality.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor, they say, but as humans, aging and physical infirmity stands our way of enjoying our mansions and homes. It often becomes challenging, if not impossible, to use our stairways day in, day out. With portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators, PVs, you are assured of unlimited enjoyment of your mansions and homes. It's a self-supported elevator for vertical movement of humans and goods at homes and offices. The original comes in 3 custom-made models with wheelchair accessibility. Call it luxury, but it's a necessary imperative for vertical mobility. Do not let aging or infirmity limit you. Get one for your easy vertical mobility at home. It's affordable and can be installed in just 3 days without modification to your existing building. It's however easier to incorporate it at the construction stage. We also have traditional Fuji elevators and escalators for your high-rise buildings and malls. Visit Lifts and Elevators Company Limited at Sakumono for your elevators nationwide. For free consultation, to call or WhatsApp us on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators, the elevator people.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic.
Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful Endpoint one?
Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo medu me fire no ene ma won kra me nu foforo kwa na mkwan mu a eba and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko endpoint o mama nu nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's Endpoint for you. Hello. Hey, Oshisho what chair? Okay. A free bra would the Endpoint what dance. I'm the choir no. Me just say my name Koye and person my name and Imagina Sabema. Now me here for the hard in Jarisa. You heard everything. I have secret. Endpoint is my secret. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
Customer.
Nada bena minka me papa. Me try 10 Ghana. 10 Ghana cedis.
Na no dia send na obenya.
10 Ghana cedis no. Me dia. Me 54,000 Ghana cedis.
54,000.
540 million. Here.
Bia the one na me ka me die hu skase.
Here. Ene na giga ade tena we. Tena wa boki. Draw no na asase no. Ma me nye volume.
Customer! One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
Isro, a teye simanisui. Doctor Semen Koyo operation. Cataract surgery. Isro.
Minia. Ustro sesen. Sisia Dr. Agawa ama operation ya yes simple krum ha won't say. Sisia there no ABS.
ABS. And also the
ABS na chese. No anesthesia. No bleeding. No suture. Don't na hospital hokra nche. Obeji di senra. Mekoye surgery.
Sa.
Ani o. Enese medi ye medwuma na you. Chese me need hok clear.
Wow. Na simple sa. O se hospital ba no.
Dr. Agawa's Eye Hospital. E Benchesano Police Station. Wow. For it was 0501-534-498 and 0553-019-311.
Dr. Agawa's Eye Hospital for eyes like new.
Event 14th Visakin RTP Awards 2023. The prestigious Visakin RTP Awards comes on at the Accra International Conference Center on the 27th of December, 7 p.m. It's a black tie event for all nominees. The best dressed lady and gentleman receive $1,000 each. Limited tickets are available on rtpawardsafrica.com. The 14th Visakin RTP Awards is sponsored by Visakin Travel and Tour Limited, Jimre Estates, Special Drinks, Platinum Music Group, Duffield Roofing Systems, Corporate Ghana Awards.